Hopefully we are going there. All right, so welcome everybody for the 12th SGSTEM Talk and Trivia. We are very lucky to have with us Miss Katie Shi, who is director and co-founder of the Dorsal Effect. She'll tell you more about it. And she's going to tell us more about shark tagging and whether it's like putting a permanent price tag on a shark. So Katie is a shark lover, not difficult to love sharks. And first heard of her when we were introduced to her by Siva through the group Toddy Cats, and she's very passionate about sharks. And she even takes people out for eco-tourism trips with sharks. So I'll let Katie tell you more about her work with sharks and her experiences with tagging sharks. Katie, please.
Okay, I hope my connection will be stable. Yeah, I'll just keep my fingers crossed. Yeah. Give me a guy, sorry.
Able to share your screen? Yeah, super.
Okay, yeah, hi guys. Yeah, I'm feeling super nervous today because I always have this imposter syndrome, like when I'm among people who are like science trained, like my background is in humanities, and when I'm around science people, I feel very insecure when I talk about stuff related to science. So I'll try my best, okay? I'm more attuned to talking to children. It's easier to make them laugh, but I'll try my best, guys. Yeah, just putting it out there first. I'm sure all of you know a lot more about science than I'll ever do, but yes, like I said, I'll try my best. But I really appreciate Kanan and Marcus for having me. Like, I'll try my best to make it as educational or interesting or fun or whatever it is that you're here for as possible. Okay, so I basically run an ecotourism business. It's called the Dorsal Effect, but today I'm not going to talk about it. It's just that I guess over the last 7 years, when I think about how I started it, I guess at the start there was a lot of excitement about how, oh yay, I'll be in the ocean all the time. Yeah, of course, starting a business is a bit different from actually running it, and I guess, yeah, this picture kind of sums up the excitement I had at the start of running the Dorsal Effect. Not exactly my life that I had to go into the oceans as often as I wish to, because there was a lot of like back-end work I had to do as well. But it's okay, I guess I'm still enjoying it, except that now because of the pandemic, everything is put on hold, so there are no trips happening, and I don't know, I'm just waiting things out and just taking things one day at a time. Yeah, just to share. Okay, so because yes, I do really love sharks a lot. Of course, I prefer to see them alive, but sometimes I do see them dead as well. And there's also value in dead sharks, I guess, because if you can get information from a dead shark, I think there's value in science like taxonomy and being able to find out about whatever little information you can get from a dead shark is also important. Yeah, so measuring shark is one thing that I get the students to do when I bring them on a trip with me to Lombok. Of course, when they measure the sharks, those are dead sharks at the shark market. So the interesting thing about what I'm going to talk about today is shark tagging with live sharks. So it's not easy. A dead shark is well, it's not moving, so it's a lot easier to measure it. But with a dead shark, with a dead shark, it's harder. It's easier to measure. But with a live shark, it's squiggling and it's out of water. It's uncomfortable. It's a lot harder to measure a live shark. So I was really impressed by the shark scientists I worked with in Florida itself. So yeah, do pay attention to this slide because one of the trivia question will be, okay, I think I better not share too much. But yes, anyway, yeah, I'll go straight into it. So yeah, I just a little bit of extra trivia here and there as well. I really like the WhatsApp icon of the shark, except that yeah, it's super cute, but it only has 3 gill slits. So, and what's wrong with that? Because typically sharks have about 5 gill slits, and sometimes you have like 6 gill sharks and 7 gill sharks, but typically it's usually about the average, like most of the sharks have 5 gill slits. So yeah, maybe we should write into WhatsApp to tell them to add 2 more gills for their really cute shark emoticon, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so jumping straight into it, yes, I basically spent a bit of time in the spring of 2018 in Florida under the US Embassy's Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative Professional Fellowship Program. So because I was in Florida, and Florida is the heart of where a lot of shark scientists were doing a lot of shark research and work, I got to move around the different universities and I got to see a lot of the work that they were doing, and I was really so excited and really impressed. I think the most significant time I spent was at the Florida State University, where I got to go out on the boat with this bunch of really young scientists, and they were doing shark tagging off the Gulf of Mexico. So maybe I know it might be a little bit choppy, but I'll share this video with you. I'm sorry it might be a little bit disturbing, but I like to believe that the shark was not hurt in the process. I mean, it wasn't. It was released back properly, not to scare you all. But yes, just let me play this video of, I'll play it first and then I'll explain it.
He's fine.
Okay, I don't know if you managed to hear at the end of it. Basically, the scientist said he's fine. So this was a male hammerhead shark this was a male hammerhead shark so this was a
I think we lost Katie's audio.
Yep.
Well, we'll wait for a while as she resumes. Katie, we can't hear you. Let me try to send her a message.
oriented, and when we threw it back in the water, you can see we're still on the surface of the water.
Katie, we lost a bit of your audio for the last maybe like 20 seconds. So maybe could you tell us more about the male hammerhead shark again?
Right. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, my connection is not very stable. Sorry. Can you hear me now? Yes, right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, we had a long line to have sharks on the line, and this was the first time I'd seen a live hammerhead shark. So and it was quite big, as you can see from the video, and it was. Although we had quite a number of sharks on the line, this was the only hammerhead shark we had on the line, and it was also the most disoriented. So as you can see from the video towards the end, the hammerhead shark was actually on the surface of the water for quite a while. They get really disoriented when they're out of the water, and they take a while before they can swim properly and go beneath the water again. So that was what I learned about hammerhead sharks. They tend to be a little bit more vulnerable in terms of if you take them out of the water, they tend to be a lot more disoriented as compared to other sharks. But yeah, that's why they have to work a lot faster when it comes to measuring and taking and tagging the hammerhead shark. Basically, they have to be a lot more careful. Okay, so to rewind a bit, when I went out on the boat with the shark scientists at around the Gulf of Mexico, basically there were two methods that we were using. There's this shallow water long line survey method. As you can see, we would put pieces of mackerel on many hooks. So this is a long line method of fishing. And I mean, maybe some of you have heard about how long line fishing is cruel. It is, but for scientists, they have to use the methods that the fishermen use in order to test how it works and what is it like. And I guess for them, they tend to remove the line a lot faster. So we would lay it. The moment we lay it, we quickly circle back and we pull out the line as fast as we can, really, because we don't want anything that's caught on the line to be circling around and hooked on the line for too long. Yeah, so basically we had, I think, 100 hooks on this long line, and we also used gill nets as well. Yeah, but nothing was found on the gill net. Everything that we measured and found was actually on the long line itself. Okay, so I was assigned the task to fill up the data sheet, and so basically we had to write stuff like the species, the sex, what is the total length, what is the tag ID, so we would number tag the shark itself. We would also write things like comments like, was it eaten, or was there something that was found on it, was it dead? Yeah, so we try to write as much information about the shark as we can, and about the depth as well. As you can see, the paper has a lot of information. So I think if your eyes are sharp enough, you can see one particular type of shark is a lot more common than the other sharks. And I won't tell you what it stands for yet, but I'll tell you one thing is that in this Gulf of Mexico area, there are 3 types of sharks that are very commonly found. So the 3 types of sharks are the bonnet-head shark, the Atlantic shark nose, as well as the black-tipped sharks. Yeah, so you try to figure out which one is it that has, that we saw so many of on that line itself later. Okay, so there are many ways to tag a shark, but the ones that we used on this trip was the number tag. So basically, it's the cheapest method of tagging a shark, except that because there's no satellite tagging, you can't really follow the shark wherever it goes. So once you tag it, it's kind of like a price tag. In fact, you kind of shoot it like a price tag gun into the fin of the shark, basically. So the only information that goes into number tagging is the name of the researcher, what research is this researcher doing, and the phone number of the researcher. So basically, wherever the shark ends up, most likely dead, I guess, this tag will still be on the shark, and whoever finds it will then be able to call the researcher to give them more information about where it ended up, what state was it in, how long since the tag was put on the shark, things like that. Yeah, so although it's limited information, but it's still important information because it's always good to know where the shark ends up after that. Okay, so I was very impressed that the boat had this trough, like it's this, as you can, I don't know how to describe the shape of it, but yeah, it's very useful because you basically just put the shark there and you measure it straight away. So that was a very fast and very efficient method of measuring a shark, as opposed to taking a measuring tape and then trying to put the shark steady while holding the tape. I thought this was really fast. So I was very impressed with how fast the shark scientists were working, just so that they can ensure as many of the sharks that were pulled out will survive whatever they were putting them through as possible. So yeah, I know I'm saying it in a way as if like the sharks are put through a lot of shit just to be tagged and for research and for science, which is kind of true because you see them struggling and all. But I guess the scientists also try their best not to hurt them as much as possible, and it's not in the name of science because I'll talk about that why later as well. Yeah, so sorry, another random picture. This is a very deep dwelling kind of a shark. It's called a frill shark. And I don't know if you can see, but the teeth of the frill shark is just so crazy. So yeah, I managed to see this at one of the labs where they had a lot of specimens of sharks, and it was really interesting. Okay, so coming back to talking about science and why science is important for sharks. I remember back then when I was volunteering at Shark Savers. So this was back in quite a long time ago, 2009, I think, or 2010, thereabouts. Yeah, so there was a study that was done in 2007 about how there's this trophic cascading food chain of sharks and the cow-nosed rays in the mid-Atlantic Ocean. So this paper basically said that the scallop population was being eaten by the cow-nosed rays, and the cow-nosed rays were being eaten by the Caribbean sharks. But because the sharks were being fished a lot, it resulted in an explosion of cow-nosed rays, and these cow-nosed rays were eating up the scallops, resulting in the crash of the scallop industry, basically. So the scallop fishery kind of collapsed because of the sharks being eliminated from the food chain. It sounded right at that point in time when we were talking about it, but I guess when I went to Florida, I met some of who was it? Oh, I can't remember his name. Yeah, one of the shark scientists Dean Grubbs. He was telling me about how this paper was really damaging, because basically after this paper came out, people started to hunt the cow-nosed rays. And they thought that, because there are no more scallops, so we have to keep on hunting the cow-nosed rays. And they hunted the cow-nosed rays to a point of devastation. It was actually pretty bad. Like they almost lost all the cow-nosed rays that they had in the ocean then. So because of that, Dean Grubbs actually wrote this paper. He did a new study in 2015 to kind of say that, hey, that's not true. It's purported, this marine trophic cascade, it's not as simple as that. There's a lot of other factors that are affecting the cow-nosed rays. So this paper was very crucial in getting the fisheries to say that, hey, you have to stop hunting the cow-nosed rays. It is not as simplified as you would like to believe about the trophic cascade of how the sharks are impacting the cow-nosed rays, so simplistically speaking. Yeah, so I think with papers like that, the thing about science is that it's always changing, it's always evolving. Like one day a paper can say something, but of course we shouldn't take it as the gospel truth. Yes, it takes a lot of effort to to do a research on a piece of paper. But I guess the thing about scientists is also need to be open to the fact that things can change. And I guess it was important that this paper actually came out, because then the fishermen can be told that, hey, you need to stop hunting the cow-nose rays. They're not exactly the only ones causing the fall of the scallop population. So with this, I was very impressed with how Florida policies, or rather in the US, the policies are very, very much impacted by the papers that were coming out. So I guess that works as a very good incentive for scientists to publish papers, just so that they can push it to policy level, like to stop hunting certain types of species of sharks, or to have to change your fishing gear methods, or to not allow certain to have certain catch limits or catch sizes for certain species of sharks, which is awesome, because I think a lot of Southeast Asian countries don't have these kind of strict policies, so to speak. But the flip side of it also is that in the US, a lot of the fishery industry is also quite powerful in terms of their lobbying. So if the scientists say something that goes against their business, or it hurts, or it's perceived to hurt them, they might fight back, and they can make a lot of noise with their lobbying. They have the power to do so. So yeah, got good, got bad, I guess, in the US. Okay, so since I talked so much about cow-nose rays, I thought, hey, why not show you this baby cow-nose ray being born in the Florida aquarium. I didn't see it for myself. I actually found this video, but yeah. Okay, sorry, I need to stop sharing for a while, and let me just pull it up again. Sorry, guys, give me a second.
Since we mentioned in the chat that science self-corrects, an important lesson to communicate to the public.
Yes, yeah, very good point. Indeed. Okay, so yeah, this is a baby cow-nose ray that was born in Florida Aquarium. Okay, sorry, the video was a little bit choppy, but I hope you see how cute that baby cow-nose ray was. The moment it was born, it was swimming so practically already. That was awfully cute. That's why I really had to show it to you. Okay, sorry. Indulgence there. Okay, so I think some of you maybe already know this, because rays are so closely related to sharks. I like to tell this to children, like they're basically like steamrolled shark, biologically speaking. So you think of a shark, when it gets steamrolled, it's basically a ray. That's how close they are as relatives, so to speak. Yeah, so they're very biologically close. They are cartilaginous, and yeah, this is the easiest way I can think of in terms of describing a ray, and why is it so closely related to sharks. Okay, so something I wanted to end off with in terms of thinking about what are you eating. I think most of you might have been familiar with a lot of campaigns that were going on about how you should not be eating shark fin soup. But at the same time, I do wonder if people who have been swearing off shark fin soup are also eating sharks in other ways. So I am pretty sure you all know what this dish is. You all can unmute yourself. It's a very small crowd anyway. Anyone know what dish this is? Yes?
Lor mee with shark nugget.
Yeah. So this they call it fish meat lor mee lah, but actually the fish meat is shark meat. And I do wonder if people realize that they're eating shark meat, like when you say I sworn off shark fin soup, but what if we are still eating sharks in other ways? So even in very popular fish and chips dishes, because shark meat tends to not flake that easily, so it's easy for you to make it into like it's easy to deep fry it in batter, so it holds very well for fish and chips. So yeah, so these are just some of the common dishes that you can find shark meat in. And I think interestingly, Aware actually shared a report about how the global trade in shark meat is growing as opposed to shark fin. So that was an interesting thing as well to think about. I mean, it's we can't just talk about shark fin and not consider that there are so many other parts of the shark that we're probably still consuming or that needs to be scrutinized as well. And I think, yeah, that's the whole point about talking about sharks in its entirety. Yeah, so for me, I think I have a lot of questions for myself. When we talk about sharks and people talk about how, oh, sharks are dying, yes, but there are about 1,200 species of sharks out there so far that scientists have discovered. I've also read some papers that say that there are some species that are actually biologically sustainable. So I'm not trying to go against the fact that sharks are depleting in the oceans. They are, because Global Fin Print actually published a paper about 1 month ago showing signs of how a lot of the reefs are depleted. But at the same time, the paper also talked about how if you have proper fishery management and policy, science-driven policies that are properly enforced in certain countries, the sharks actually do thrive. So fishery management could be a way of ensuring that shark species are kept healthy in the oceans. I sometimes also think that in Singapore, not enough people are talking about the shark meat problem. And we also eat a lot of sambal stingray as well. So what if rays are depleting, but there's not enough people doing studies about rays? It's something that I think about. So these are just some things that I think about along the way. I may not always have the answers, obviously I don't, but I do wish that there was a lot more work that was being done in the region, basically in Southeast Asia. I know there are a lot of organizations that are doing really good work, such as Wildlife Conservation Society, but I like to believe there's more that can still be done in terms of shark conservation, and I think science plays a very big part of it. Okay, with that, I will end my session. I mean, my talk, basically. Yeah. And, does anyone have any questions?
That was a great talk, Kathy. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Like Marcus said, I didn't know that we had shark meat in the market here. I mean, I know they sell it like shark in markets and stuff, but I didn't know that it was like available as like on dishes and stuff. So I've got one question here from Cherry. Thanks for insightful presentation. Was wondering if you or the team encounter any recaptured sharks, like catching a shark that's already been tagged before. Do you guys go through any of that?
Okay, that's a really good question. Unfortunately, I wish I had spent more time in Florida to be able to answer that question. But from my interactions with the scientists, it seemed like they've never recaught a tagged shark, because they don't always go to the same, they do GPS tag a certain area that they go to, so they know where they've been, and it takes a few months or quite a while before they'll go back to that same area again. So no, I don't think they've actually caught a re-tagged shark. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Marcus, you got anything?
I do. So just now you mentioned that for us to look out what RTER on the data sheet meant. I didn't told us yet.
Okay, yeah. So which one do you think it is? So I said there are 3 very common sharks that you can find in the Gulf of Mexico. So I said there's the bonnet head, there's the Atlantic shark nose, and the black tip sharks. Just hazard a guess. Which one do you think it is, guys? The RTER.
Last one, black tip.
Thanks for the guess, but no, it's actually the Atlantic shark nose. Yeah, so we got so many Atlantic shark nose on the line. Most of them were males, interestingly. I still don't know why yet, but I'm pretty sure they're researching into that as well. Yeah.
Is there a reason why they use those letters to represent the shark?
I think it's something to do with the scientific name. So it's kind of like the short form of the scientific name of the Atlantic shark nose shark. Yeah. So if you Google it, I think it will give you some idea. Okay, so okay, this is really bad. I should really tell you what is the scientific name of it.
I found it.
Yes. Yeah.
Rhizoprionodon terranovae. So RTER comes from the first letter of the genus and then the 3 letters in the species name.
Yeah, so it's faster to write, I guess.
Yeah, prionodon probably means don is teeth. Prio probably means first tooth. Sharp first tooth. Sharp. Cool. Oh, there's another question, Kanan. You would like to?
Yeah, Saranan wants to know, hi Kathy, do you have a picture of the tag itself on or off the shark? My apologies if I didn't notice if you showed it earlier.
No, I didn't show it, but that's a very good question. Let me try to find it while, yeah, y'all can still continue with the question. Let me see if I can find.
Yeah, so I think my question is related to Saravanan's question. So you mentioned that it's stuck, tagged onto the fin of the shark. So is it a dorsal fin? So it's sort of like flagging on this. Maybe if you show us the picture.
Yes, the dorsal fin. The big yeah, it will take me a while. My laptop's a bit slow, so yeah, you can still keep the questions coming. Sorry, guys.
Okay, yeah, do keep the questions coming for Kathy. Well, we find out. Yeah, I also want to find out how is the tag shot into the dorsal fin, and how would it actually stay throughout the lifetime of the shark?
Have you ever seen those guns that you use to price tag an item in like shopping malls? It's actually the same thing. So you basically use the same type of gun to shoot the tag onto the shark.
I've seen the sticker kind, but I've also known the rings that people put on the clothes. So maybe it's those. Is it those tags?
Yeah, the one with the plastic piece that kind of
seals
gun.
onto itself. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Desmond suggested it's security tags.
It's a security tag now. Because it's really small, and the scientists usually tag really as closer in as possible so that it wouldn't rip the fin of the shark off. I would like to believe it's securely tagged. Of course, I can't guarantee that. I haven't done it enough to know for sure. I do apologize that my laptop is just not working as well today, so I really cannot pull out the photos. But let me see if I can find it on my phone.
Okay, yeah, Katie also is suffering from technical difficulties. Her laptop broke down. So she emailed us late this evening. So we're hoping that things work. So we got the slide worked actually. So Cherry has a question.
Yeah, Cherry wants to know what are some of the ongoing shark conservation projects and outreach at Lombok? Would love to visit Lombok.
Right. That's a very difficult question to answer. So, in Lombok, the work that I was focusing on was basically trying to get as many tourists to come so that I can pay the fishermen. Although once in a while, I was lucky enough to have like maybe say a group of divers who wanted to do a bit more. So there was once I had a group of Yale NUS students, or rather Yale NUS divers, who came and they helped me to do surveys on the different spots that we went to for snorkeling to find out the health of the reefs there. But because they were only there for a one-off 5-day trip, so it couldn't be an ongoing continuous study. So in that sense, I just didn't have the resources or the context in able to do anything that's long-term before, to be really honest.
I see, okay. And there's one more question from Karen. Do fishermen contact the researchers when a tagged shark is caught?
Well, they're supposed to, because that's why the researcher's phone number is on the tag. But there's no guarantee. Like, if they want to, they would do so. If they don't want to, there's nothing stopping them from not doing so.
Okay.
Also, it's a purely voluntary contact. So how many fishermen who actually, fisher folk who actually caught a shark with a tag actually translates into a call to a scientist? That'd be interesting to find out actually.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I actually have a feeling that in different countries where you tag sharks, you might get different rates of return in terms of like people actually, calling you to tell you about it.
Yeah, I think
it also depends on like if they're catching the shark legally and stuff like that. Can you imagine they're catching it in like a no fish zone, or they're doing like any other kind of shady business catching, right? I think the last thing they want to do is call and tell like, hey, I just caught one of your sharks. So I think that will affect as well.
Okay, I managed to find a really poorly taken photo because we were rushing and all, like, to release the shark back. So I don't know if y'all can see, but that's the dorsal fin of the shark, and there's a tag, and they try to like put it back. Oops, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty small. Like, this is a really small shark, and the tag is also really small. I hope that helps. Sorry, I had really shitty photos.
Oh, Desmond actually found a picture and he posted it on the link. Kind of cool. It's a dark tag. Okay, are there? Oh, one more question.
This is from Heather. Hey, Kathy, you mentioned lack of resources. Anyway, citizen scientists can be roped in to help on surveys, for instance.
You mean in Lombok?
Is this in Lombok? Locally?
Very good question. Yeah, I don't know. In what ways though? I guess so. I guess there's potential. I guess there's potential, but more potential probably in the market surveys. I feel that market surveys of dead sharks and rays are important. So I did help. I did assist. I don't know if y'all know Naomi Shen Clark, but the WRS folks will know her very well. She's the PI for this market surveys that we were doing, and yeah, I was assisting her in it. And I guess there's potential there because there's probably a lot of information that we don't know about what's coming into our market. But in terms of our local waters, I feel like Choi Hoon might be better able to answer this though. She's in our local waters a lot more than I've ever been.
Okay.
Just throw it at her, right? Sorry, Choi Hoon.
Any comment from Choi Hoon if you are listening in? So Greta asked, fish market survey as in going to the markets to look for fish. Is that what you guys did?
Yeah, so like going to the fishing spots about what kind of fish, what kind of sharks, what kind of rays, what kind of other seafood are being brought into our fishing ports to be sold to the market. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been to the fishery port before, and they have like quite a good, or should I say, quite a bad selection of sharks and rays and stuff. Like I think it was a lemon shark. It was quite a big one. Yeah, and that was I think that's like the biggest shark I've seen in the market before, and I was like, wow, okay, they caught it here.
And you saw hundreds of rays too, right? I would have thought.
Sinwei pasted a photo, the link of a paper that was recently done about using DNA to detect the presence of shark meat in the market. That's quite cool. So I think with that, we are almost out of time for our Q&A session. So thank you very much, Kathy, for sharing with us your experiences and telling us about the importance of sharks. I will invite everyone to unmute themselves to thank Kathy so much. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, everyone. So don't go away. We are going to play trivia right up next. So Kanan will be sharing his screen on the trivia.
I will be.
So Kathy is not allowed to play because, well, she actually came out with some of the questions this time. So one more reminder. Okay. One reminder, everyone is encouraged to contribute to the trivia pot. So the winner of today's trivia would decide where the trivia pot, which charity would benefit from the trivia pot. So you could use PayNow or you could use PayPal. And I'm gonna, before we play, I think we might have a few new first-time joiners today. So I'll start the briefing from the start. There'll be 4 rounds we're going to play, and including 1 bonus round. And the theme for this week is MSS, which you'll find out what is it about. And everyone is, if you're playing, please update the live Google Sheet, and that's how we keep track of the score. And I'm going to paste it in the chat box here. tinyurl.com SGSTEM-trivia. Include your name or your team name and your preferred beneficiary. So there is an honor code. So no one, you're not supposed to look up answers on the internet or books. You could play by yourself solo, or you could join with a team if you have family members at home or a group of you. And after the game, please email your answers to sgstem.talktrivia@gmail.com. So you self-mark and you send us your answers, send answers to us. So this is for checking purposes, since we are going to be donating money to charity. I realized I typed the wrong address, tinyurl.com without space. All right, so you can write your answers on a piece of paper, or you could type it on your phone or word processor and send it to us after. So we will begin. Kanan, are you feeling good enough?
Should be.
All right.
If you just see me slump in my chair, just carry on. How many teams have we got?
I think we've got 3 this week.
Okay.
So we've got people playing for JGIS, the Dorsal Effect, and Crop.
Okay. Right. So 1 is mosquitoes. Yes, I took this very personal. We know that only female mosquitoes drink blood. What do they need it for? We know that only female mosquitoes consume blood. What do they need it for?
There'll be lots of photos of mosquitoes in this quiz.
Like when I had to come out with the quiz topic, I was like, this is too easy. I know what I'm going to write about. Okay. Any point, if you guys want me to go back to the next question or something, just shout at me in the chat box. How many known species of mosquitoes are there? How many known species of mosquitoes are there?
And this is worldwide.
Yep.
And the picture, you see the Singapore's Pokédex of mosquitoes, and this is just 1 page of it. There are many more. Maybe just for information, there are at least 80 species of mosquitoes known from Singapore alone.
Okay. What's the buffer for this, Marcus?
I think you listed 50, I think. Was it 100 or 50?
I think it might have been 100, yeah. So you guys can give me plus minus 100 on either side. Obviously, if you give me the exact number, you get the full point. Otherwise, you get half a point for either side. Okay. True or false, mosquitoes hibernate. True or false, mosquitoes hibernate. And you found a very saucy picture of a mosquito as well.
I ripped this off from a US Army poster, how to be safe when in a field with mosquitoes.
Nice, nice.
Actually advocating soldiers to use a mosquito net.
Mm-hmm. I like how the mosquito is already lying inside the mosquito net. You think you're safe, right? You're not.
And this mosquito only has 4 legs, something odd.
They probably had to make it look as, appealing as possible. How many mosquito bites are needed to drain an adult human? How many mosquito bites are needed to drain an adult human? 12,000, 120,000, 1,200,000, or 12 million? How many mosquito bites are needed to drain an adult human?
It's kind of gory picture to go with
it
that
is,
as well.
yeah.
I can't imagine being drained by a mosquito. Oof.
It must be so slow though.
Whether it's 12,000 of them or 120,000 of them or a million to 1.2 million or 12
I think
million.
I think any of these numbers is just going to be really slow. Obviously, the bigger the number, the slower it's going to be. Unless, of course, you can get like that many mosquitoes to bite you at the same time. It's going to be like the scarabs from the mummy. Yeah, it's going to be like scarabs from the mummy.
The next one.
And last one, true or false, mosquitoes are vectors for HIV. True or false, mosquitoes are vectors for HIV.
Well, we try to use the trivia to dispel rumors or to provide information too. So hopefully.
Yeah. And also to increase the hatred for mosquitoes. Stand with me. Okay. Moving on. And mosquitoes suck. So second one is suck. I told you, right? How much water in liters can an elephant draw through its trunk? How much water in liters can an elephant draw through its trunk?
We have to convert the trunk length into Pepsi bottles and imagine that.
Yeah.
It's a pretty long trunk.
How many venti cups can an elephant hold in its trunk?
Yep, and one venti cup is like what, 900 ml, right?
Think
Something
so.
like that. And I think the last trivia we found out that the elephant's trunk is heavier than the giraffe's neck.
Yep.
Right? Some useful trivia.
How far away can the sounds of a sloth bear's suction feeding be heard? How far away can the sounds of a sloth bear's suction feeding be heard? 50 meters, 80 meters, 150 meters, 180 meters. Sloth bears just look so weird, man. They just look like wigs running around.
Yeah, they've got a nice, this guy has a nice hairstyle, ear style.
Yeah.
And this particular one was taken from the Smithsonian Zoo in DC.
This is like, I think this is one of these sloth bear pictures when you Google them up.
Apparently they're one of the few species that can take on a tiger and scare them off.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. True or false? Walruses are known to feast on mammal brains. Wait, what? Feed. Walruses are known to feed on mammal brains by sucking them out of their skulls. True or false? Walruses are known to feed on mammal brains by sucking them out from their skulls.
So look at how cute the walrus is. Do you think it can suck your brain off from your skull? True or false?
It's like, is a walrus capable of this? And then you're like, maybe a walrus is capable of this.
Or do they just eat shellfish?
Variety though. Where is the sucker-like organ of the remora or suckerfish located? Where is the sucker-like organ of the remora or suckerfish located? A, dorsal or top side. B, ventral or bottom side. C, caudal or tail end. Top, bottom, or tail. Where is the sucker-like organ of the remora located?
Yep, so remoras are also known as shark suckers. It's very on theme this week, and they're usually found on big marine animals like shark, whales, turtles, and they swim along with them. So sucker-like organs on the top.
I've always felt sorry for the remoras which are on top of whales, because when a whale like jumps out of the water, right, and then you see this poor remora stuck on it, and I can just imagine it just being like suffocating away because it's a fish, not a mammal. It's probably just like, I need to breathe. Hurry.
So don't attach yourself to a super athletic one that always does the jumps.
Yeah, you stick to a shark, man. Be safe. Or sea turtle, they are slow and fine. Things not to do if you're a remora. And 5, which animal has a longer lactation period? The orangutan or an elephant? Which animal has a longer lactation period? The orangutan or an Asian elephant? Okay. Last section, sharks. Keeping it with the theme, sharks. How many gill slits? How many gill slits do sharks and rays typically have? How many gill slits do sharks and rays typically have?
The slits are those vertical lines that you see in the picture, and purposefully the fin is covering or not covering more slits.
I mean, this could be a WhatsApp shark, man.
Yeah, this could be it. Read artists base their art based on this photo. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they probably saw this and were like, huh, at least 3. Okay. Next question. How do you measure the total length of the shark? A, snout to pectoral fin. B, snout to tail. C, snout to precaudal pit. D, snout to anus. How do you measure the total length of the shark?
I wonder how do you find the anus of the shark?
I'm sure it's just the place where the claspers and anal fins are, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think for snakes they do snout to tail.
Yes.
No, not tail. Snout to vent.
Snout vent length, yeah.
Yeah, for snakes they do that as well. Yeah.
Cool. So how for a shark with the specialized trout that Katie showed?
Okay. According to the Shark Attack database, sharkattackdata.com, by the Shark Research Institute, how many shark attacks have been recorded in Singapore's history? How many shark attacks have been recorded in Singapore's history according to the Shark Attack database?
And I think they started looking, or records started in the mid-1800s. So from the mid-1800s to now, how many shark attacks have there been? And I was surprised when I was looking up this. And this is an example from the Straits Times. Look at how dated it is. I think this was 1954. And right in the center, it says frogmen killed by shark.
Attack during dive for opium.
I think there was an opium thing that was sunk at the bottom and this person went down to try to get it. Yep, and at the bottom it says shouted for help.
Right, moving on. Marine Stewards Singapore, MSS, worked with conservationists and scientists to come up with sustainable fishing guidelines here. Which of these species of shark is included? A, coral cat shark. B, tawny nurse shark. C, tiger shark. D, white-tip reef shark. Which of the following sharks are included in the sustainable fishing guidelines brought about by Marine Stewards Singapore?
Right, MSS, which is which is the theme of today's trivia. So Sinwei asked, it's a multi-choice question. More than one answer correct? Nope, only one of these 4 answers is correct. So there are 4 species of sharks that were featured in these guidelines, and one of them in A, B, C, or D is in it.
And moving to question 5. One of the sustainable fishing guidelines is to release juvenile fishes below their maturity length. What is the stated maturity length of a black-tip reef shark? A, 60 to 70 centimeters, 70 to 80, 80 to 90, or 90 to 100? Which of the following is the stated maturity length of a black-tipped reef shark?
A picture for your reference there. So I suppose if there's a code, black-tipped reef shark would be CMEL.
Yep.
Sedway says he used to see this one in the Wisma Atria aquarium. Yeah, so there used to be an old aquarium with Wisma Atria in front of the glass lifts. And it's a pretty big one, maybe it's like 12 meters, 9 to 12 meters long, and there used to be black-tipped reef sharks inside. I had a course mate who did a study, research on that aquarium. And she studied it across maybe like 3 months. And her job was to find out how quickly they replace the fishes in the aquarium because there's mortality. And I think the mortality was 70%, 60 or 70%, which is
Wow.
really high. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think that there was a shark tank at Suntec as well. Because I remember when I was in secondary school, we used to have like exhibitions there, and I know there was a shark tank over there as well.
yeah. Changi Airport too. Yeah, so all these marine aquariums have very high mortality rates. All right, so we're ready to go to the answers.
Yep, go to the answers now. For mosquitoes, they need the blood to produce protein for egg production, so they can make more bitey people. So protein for egg production or in any form of these words is acceptable. And the thing was plus minus 500. So there are 3,500 species of known species of mosquitoes. If you do anywhere between 3,000 to 4,000, we'll give you half a point. If you do 3,500, we'll give you the full point. And true, mosquitoes do hibernate in colder countries. We do not see that in Singapore though. They're active all year round. And you need 1.2 million bites to drain an adult human. 1.2 million C. And false, mosquitoes do not carry HIV. The virus gets digested in their digestive system. Okay, next for suck. An elephant can draw through its trunk 10 liters. 10 liters through its trunk. And you can hear the sounds of a feeding sloth bear 180 meters away, D 180 meters. And true, walruses will feed on mammal brains by sucking them out of their skulls.
Maybe I'll talk about how they do that. So people have seen or observed walruses clamping down on seals and then just sucking the brains out from their noses. Because they can generate so much suction, because they're suction feeders of bivalves. And occasionally somehow this has been observed, walruses eating seal brains. Probably highly nutritious brains there.
Wonder how far you can hear that sound, sir.
Must be very loud.
Yeah. And the sucker-like organ in a remora is on its top side, the dorsal side. So this poor guy is stuck upside down on a sea turtle.
Yep. Another bonus trivia is that remora fishing is a thing in communities of the Indian Ocean. So fishing communities would attach a ring to the base of the tail of a remora so it doesn't come off and throw it into the water. And the remora would instinctively swim to find a large animal, and usually they're hunting turtles, and attach itself to a turtle. And once the attachment has been made, the fisherman would pull the remora in with the string that's around the base of the tail, and that's how they catch turtles. And this is done for many fishing communities around the Indian Ocean, both on the west side in Africa and the east side in Indonesia.
Oh. I did not know that. I didn't know that they use remoras for fishing.
Apparently the remora doesn't let go. It hangs on to dear life. So for small turtles, the turtle is dragged with the remora. For larger ones, they would go close to the remora with the turtle and harpoon the large turtle. Very strange.
And I think also remoras, their holding on power is quite strong. Of course, they have to be like I said earlier, those which get stuck to whales and stuff. They need to be content with all of the splashing and like spy hopping and everything.
Yeah.
And the orangutan has the longer lactation period among the two animals.
An average of 7 years compared to 4 to 5 years for the elephant.
Okay. And lastly, sharks. Sharks have 5 gill slits.
On average.
On average. They have 5 gill slits.
Mentions up to 6 to 7 for some species at the start of the talk.
And you measure the length of a shark by measuring it from snout to tail. So the whole length of the shark from snout to tail. And there have been 6 recorded shark attacks in Singapore's history.
So over 150 years, just 6 attacks, at least 6 attacks. I think they might have missed some. And about 4 of them are fatal. No note on what kind of sharks they were though. So it seems that shark attacks are so much rarer than people actually think, at least in Singapore. At least I thought in Singapore.
When was the most recent one?
1966, I think.
Oh, wow, okay.
And someone was, wasn't a fatal one, someone was walking the water and they got bitten.
Okay. And the coral cat shark is included in the sustainable fishing guidelines here. A coral cat shark.
I think it's less likely, they issue the guidelines based on what people might likely catch. So it's unlikely they catch a tawny nurse shark, a tiger shark, or a white reef shark.
Yeah. And the stated maturity length for a black-tipped reef shark is 90 to 100 centimeters. So if you catch a black-tipped reef shark, which is below 90 to 100 centimeters, you have to let it go.
They stated a length of 96, so I think it has to be below that.
Yep.
That's a pretty big shark. All right, so you've got your answers. So please fill up or update the live Google Sheet with your points, and then we will go on to the bonus question.
Let me know when we can carry on.
Waiting for Cherry. All right, so the leader right now is Cherry, but you can catch up at our bonus round. So please tell, you already tallied and wager your points. So how this works, the bonus round works is that you wager the number of points you have from 1 point to the maximum number of points you have. Let's say you've got 10 points, you can wager 1 point or 10 points. And if you get the bonus question correct, you gain the number of points you wagered. So if you got 10 points, you get 20 points if you get it correct. But if you will lose the number of points you wagered if you are wrong. So you end up with 0 points if you're wrong, right? So put in your wagers. I think you've all put it down. And so now we can move on to the bonus question.
What shark does RTER refer to on the data sheet? What shark does RTER refer to on the data sheet?
So it's mentioned at least twice during the talk and in the Q&A. So please write down, what does RTER refer to? You don't have to give the scientific name. If you want, you can give the scientific name, but the common name will do. And I'll give you some time to write that common name down too. It's pretty long.
Yeah, the thing is you can't give the scientific name because it's in the chat.
Oh.
So you can't give the scientific name, so we want the common name.
Okay, so maybe about 15 seconds more to write it down or to think of it. Okay, so let's review the answer.
Okay, so RTER refers to the Atlantic sharp-nosed shark. The Atlantic sharp-nosed shark is RTER. So I think the scientific name for that was Let me go and find it now. Haha.
Something Prionodon.
I think it's Rhinopriodon terranovae, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what it was.
Uh,
So yeah, so how's it looking, Marcus?
let's see. Aha! We've got Cherry as the unofficial winner with 20 points.
Nice.
So, congrats. Will be our first time winner. So we'll check your answers and we'll let you know what happened. So it looks like the dorsal effect would be the beneficiary. So congrats in advance. So please send us your answers via email. We'll confirm the winner once we get your answers. So thanks for playing.
Something. Sorry, yeah. Because the Dorsal Effect is not registered as a charity, neither is it an NGO, so it's hard to receive donations, so to speak. We kind of run like a business. So I'm wondering, Cherry, do you mind if I rechannel it to Acres? Will that be okay?
Cherry said, okay, sure.
Yay! Thank you, thank you.
Well, thanks, Kathy, and thanks, Cherry. So super. So thanks for playing this SGSTEM trivia. So if you have submit your photos and your answers, your score is already updated. You can still continue contributing to the trivia pot until we make the contribution on Monday.
Yep.
Usually, or when Kanan's feeling better. No pressure. Kanan, you want to let us?
Yeah, so SGSTEM will be taking a short break for a while because both Marcus and I have got some back to school stuff to do. So of course his class have started and I'm going to have to work on my thesis. So we'll be taking a short hiatus. We'll keep you guys updated on our Facebook page or our website as to when we'll be starting again. So yeah, so just stay in touch over there. Keep the page afloat with like fun science stories. And we'll let you guys know when we are going back with the programs. And thanks for all the support and stuff for the last many months.
Since May 1st.
Since May 1st, yes, since May 1st. So yeah. So yeah, thanks for all the support and we will let you guys know when we are back again.
Yeah, thanks for listening for us all this while. Let's do a selfie for our last one before our hiatus.
Yeah.
So go on to the website.